This knot in your throat is blocking your expression and suffocating the creative pulse of your soul. You can feel it, but you can't name it. There is something crystallized between your glottis and your larynx that prevents the vital flow from rising from the womb to the word. Every word you swallowed, every cry you stopped, every silence you forced upon yourself has shaped a physical resistance that now acts like an ancestral seal. This is not ordinary tension. It is an energetic blockage that disconnects your intention from the field of manifestation. Whenever you try to express what truly matters, you feel a tightness rising through your throat, and your voice is paralyzed before it even takes shape. This is the 9th episode of the series, The 12 Knots of Trauma, and you are about to discover how this invisible portal, once released, reactivates the animating breath that transforms thought into reality. This is not just about breathing better, it is about reconnecting the soul, the word, and the act of manifesting through a ritual that dissolves ancestral codes of silence. What you are about to learn is not a technique, it is direct access to the hidden mechanism that allows the universe to finally hear your voice and respond to your deepest intentions. The 9th somatic knot is located precisely in the space between the glottis and the larynx, working as a neurofascial crossroads where breath, identity, and creative expression meet. This specific anatomical point is not random. The polyvagal theory by Stephen Porges reveals that the vagus nerve runs directly through this area, turning it into an autonomic command center that determines whether you vibrate in a state of safety or threat. When trauma interrupts natural expression, microtensions crystallize in the glottic muscles, forming a blockage that goes far beyond the physical. This knot acts as an energetic filter that distorts the flow of vital energy, preventing intentions from gaining the necessary vibration to materialize in the quantum field of reality. Research by Robert Schleip on cervical fascia confirms that this region holds emotional patterns of repression, while epigenetic studies show how ancestral codes of silence biologically manifest in this structure. You are going to discover the ritual of the restoring breath, a somatic, hermetic practice that dissolves this, not through a specific form of breathing capable of reactivating the creative pulse. The protocol involves releasing a long hissing sound during exhalation, allowing the air to carve an inner corridor through your throat and melt ancestral crystallizations. When applied correctly, this process restores the direct connection between your intention and the field of manifestation. Your hand rests at the base of your throat during the ritual, feeling the vibrations move through the glottis and signaling safety to your nervous system. You will learn exactly how to identify this blockage in your own body through specific signs: tightness in the throat, shallow breathing, the sensation of a knot rising when you try to speak, and a disconnect between your head and your chest. The ritual gradually dissolves these resistances, giving your voice back its primary function as an instrument of manifestation, and permanently reconnecting the word and creation. The Corpus Hermeticum, in its 11th book, describes the throat as the portal of the creative logos, the point where the divine manifests through the human word. This ancient wisdom finds validation through modern neuroscience. Bessel van der Kolk shows that the body records trauma specifically in the zones of expression, while the jaw and the throat become repositories of unspoken words and stifled cries. Epigenetic inheritance reveals an even deeper layer of this crystallization. Bruce Lipton proves that families who have gone through persecution, war, or systemic oppression biologically transmit the ancestral urgency to remain silent in order to survive. This inherited code appears as vocal hypervigilance, the unconscious tendency to constantly monitor the tone, volume, and content of one's own speech. The groundbreaking discovery by Porges on the dorsal vagal complex shows that the glottic region acts as a threat sensor. When the nervous system detects danger in expression, it activates reflex contractions that literally close the passage of air. Studies by Carla Stecco on fascia reveal that each repressed emotion leaves a physical imprint on the cervical connective network, creating a web of microcontractions that perpetuate themselves through generations. The glottis then becomes a somatic library that stores not only your own forced silences, but the ancestral fear that speaking could mean death. This web of tensions forms a specific vibrational pattern that distorts any attempt to manifest through speech, because the sound already emerges contaminated by the frequency of fear. The dissolution of this knot does not occur only on a physical level, but reconnects you with the primordial tradition of the word as a creative force, restoring the ability to vibrate pure intentions into the quantum field of reality. The precise identification of the throat knot requires you to develop a refined awareness of the signals your body constantly emits, but that have been normalized over the years. The first indicator is the feeling of tightness that arises specifically when you need to express something important. It is not ordinary nervousness, but a physical constriction located between the base of the throat and the beginning of the trachea. This tightness intensifies when you are about to speak a personal truth, make a meaningful request, or express a deep emotion. Pay attention to whether your breathing becomes shallow right before important conversations. This is your nervous system activating preventive contractions in the glottis. Another typical sign is a voice that cracks or trembles without an obvious reason, especially when you try to communicate something that feels vulnerable or risky. Many people report the sensation of a knot rising when they are emotionally stirred, as if something wants to rise through the throat, but meets resistance on the way up. Notice if you compulsively swallow saliva during conflict, or if your voice automatically drops in volume when the subject becomes delicate. The disconnect between head and chest is another indicator. It feels like your voice is coming only from your throat, without connection to your abdominal breathing or to the center of your chest. Inherited patterns of silence manifest as constant vigilance over what you are about to say before the words even come out, as if there were an internal censor evaluating every word before it gains voice. You might notice that certain words or topics instantly cause tension in your jaw or stiffness in your neck. Families with a history of collective trauma often transmit micro-expressions of alert that get activated when someone begins to express themselves authentically. Notice if you find it difficult to cry, or if the cry gets stuck in your throat and cannot fully flow. Shallow breathing that stays restricted to the upper chest without engaging the abdomen indicates that the vital flow is being interrupted exactly in the region of the ninth knot. Many people notice that they yawn excessively when trying to relax the throat, because the body is trying to force open the glottis through this natural reflex. The ritual of the restoring breath begins with positioning. Sit with your spine upright, but without tension, allowing the air to circulate freely from the abdomen to the top of the head. Place your right hand at the base of your throat, exactly where you feel the pulse, with your fingers gently curved around the upper part of the trachea. The pressure should be light, just enough to feel the internal vibrations. Inhale deeply through your nose, allowing the air to travel down to your abdomen and expand your ribs sideways. This type of breathing activates the parasympathetic branch of the vagus nerve, signaling safety to the nervous system. Pause for 3 seconds at the peak of your inhalation, keeping your awareness focused on the area where your hand is resting. As you exhale, release the prolonged hissing sound SSSSS, like steam gently escaping from a pressure cooker. This specific sound resonates at the exact frequency that dissolves crystallizations in the glottic region. The vibration should be felt directly beneath your hand, creating a sensation of internal massage in the throat. Keep the exhalation slow and controlled, allowing the sound to flow for at least 8 seconds. With each breathing cycle, visualize the air creating a wider passage through your glottis, like a river gradually carving its bed. Repeat this cycle for 15 consecutive breaths, noticing how the sensations in your throat begin to shift. Many people feel a gentle warmth, subtle vibrations, or even unexpected emotional releases during the process. This is a sign that ancestral tensions are dissolving. The parasympathetic vagus nerve responds to prolonged breathing by activating the state of rest and repair, while the hissing sound acts as a sonic key that releases specific contractions in the glottic muscles. After the 15 cycles, remain in silence for 2 minutes, keeping your hand on your throat and observing the subtle sensations that emerge. You may feel pulses, warmth, expansion, or a new sense of internal space where there was once constriction. The reactivation of the creative pulse begins the moment you feel the vital flow moving through your newly released glottis. After completing the restoring breath ritual, keep your awareness on your throat and notice a completely new sensation. The air no longer encounters resistance as it passes through the area that was once tense. This is the first physical evidence that the channel has opened. Now breathe naturally and feel how the energetic flow rises from the center of your chest, moves through your throat without obstacles, and projects beyond your mouth, as if your breath had gained an invisible extension. This feeling of continuity between the inner and the outer is the creative pulse being activated. To reconnect intention and vibration, choose a simple word that represents something you wish to manifest. It could be abundance, clarity, or freedom. Inhale deeply and, as you exhale, speak this word slowly. Feeling how it is born in the center of your chest, travels through the open throat, and projects into the space ahead of you. You will notice that the word now carries a different vibrational density, as if it had its own weight and presence. This is your voice functioning as a manifesting instrument. Repeat the chosen word 5 times, observing how each repetition gains more power and clarity. Between each repetition, pause and feel the echo of the word resonating in your body and in the space around you. Many people describe the feeling that the word sticks in the air, continuing to vibrate even after the sound fades. This perception indicates that your voice is establishing a direct connection with the quantum field of possibilities. To amplify this effect, combine the word with a clear intention. As you speak it, mentally visualize the desired outcome already materialized. The open glottis allows this visualization to be encoded into the vocal vibration, creating an energetic bridge between thought and reality. Practice this sequence of word, intention, and visualization daily, always after performing the dissolution ritual. Over time, you will notice that your ability to manifest through the voice intensifies exponentially, because your voice has regained its original function as a creative tool. Marlowe carried the silence of 3 generations in her throat. At 52 years old, after 2 decades as a family therapist, she knew how to identify trauma in others, but could not name the constriction that kept her from expressing her own needs. Her grandmother had gone through the war in silence. Her mother had learned that speaking about pain was a sign of weakness, and she had inherited a throat that closed every time she needed to defend her boundaries or express disagreement. For years, that sensation of a knot rising through her throat would show up, especially in moments when clients disrespected her or when she needed to raise her fees. Marlowe felt as though something invisible strangled her words before they could gain weight in the world. It was on a Thursday, after yet another client questioned her competence and she found herself unable to speak up, that she discovered the ritual of the restoring breath, sitting in her empty office. She placed her hand at the base of her throat and began to breathe while releasing the hissing sound. During the first few tries, she felt only the familiar tightness, but by the 10th breath, something shifted. A warm vibration moved through the region that had once been rigid, as if an internal corridor had suddenly opened. The following week, when a client tried to negotiate her session fee in a disrespectful way, Marlowe heard her own voice emerge with a firmness she did not recognize. The words flowed from the center of her chest, moved through her throat without resistance, and seemed to carry a natural authority. The client immediately changed their tone and accepted her terms. Marlowe understood that she had reconnected her voice with something much deeper. She had discovered that words spoken from a free throat have the power to set boundaries that are instantly respected. 6 months later, she had doubled her waiting list and knew that the transformation was irreversible. The release of the throat awakens an ancestral resistance that few are prepared to face. Your nervous system carries inherited codes from ancestors who learned that expressing themselves meant persecution, exile, or danger. This primitive programming triggers reflex contractions in the glottis, trying to restore the protective silence that once ensured the survival of previous generations. Many people unconsciously sabotage the process of release because the reptilian brain interprets vocal expansion as an invitation to risk. The resistance appears as sensations of extreme vulnerability, a strong urge to interrupt the ritual, or even nausea during the practice. Turn this opposition into an ally. Use the hissing breath precisely to reprogram the alert response. The sound SSSSS is recognized by the nervous system as a signal of safety, similar to the sounds mothers instinctively make to soothe frightened children. Keep breathing even when every cell in your body begs you to stop. This is the exact moment when decades of silencing begin to dissolve. Your resistance confirms that the ritual is working, because only a truly powerful voice awakens such intense ancestral opposition. Trust the process and continue the practice, even when waves of exposure or the feeling of being watched begin to rise. Your throat has just regained a function that was lost for generations, to serve as a direct portal between intention and manifestation. The ritual of the restoring breath dissolved contractions that carried the ancestral fear of self-expression, releasing a vital flow that now moves through the glottis without obstruction. Each hissing sound you released rewrote epigenetic codes of silence, giving your voice back its original capacity to vibrate within the quantum field of reality. The breath that once met resistance in the region between the glottis and the larynx now flows like a current of air that reconnects womb, heart, and word into a single manifesting force. The 9th somatic knot was not just physical tension, it was the final seal that kept your creative pulse locked away. Plotinus, the great Neoplatonic philosopher, taught that the soul cannot create through the word, while the channel of expression remains blocked by fear. That obstruction has now been dissolved. When you speak from a liberated throat, each syllable carries a vibrational density powerful enough to directly influence the web of possibilities around you. Your voice has reclaimed its hermetic function as creative logos, the force that organizes chaos into reality through conscious speech. The energetic flow rising from your vital center now finds clear passage until it projects beyond your mouth, forming a living bridge between your inner and outer world. Thousands of people live with this knot crystallized inside them, feeling as though their requests to the universe are not heard, that their intentions hold no power to manifest. Now you understand why the channel was blocked at the source. The dissolution of this blockage not only frees your ability to express, but reactivates an ancestral mechanism of creation through the word. Each time you practice the ritual, you strengthen this reconnection and amplify your ability to transform thought into matter through vocal vibration. The transformation is irreversible. Once the creative pulse is activated, your voice is no longer just sound. It becomes a conscious tool of manifestation, a living bridge between your soul and reality. If this content resonated with you, leave a like, subscribe to the channel, and turn on notifications. That helps expand our community of people rediscovering the hidden power of the body. I want to know how you experience this release in your own practice. Write in the comments, "I dissolve the knot in my throat, and my creative pulse awakens to manifest." This phrase seals your intention to activate the restoring breath in your life. Share this video with someone you know carries ancestral silence and needs to reconnect voice and manifestation. This is the 9th video in the series, The 12 Knots of Trauma. You can watch the other episodes in our playlist, but first, click on the screen to watch another powerful video from the channel. And remember, the universe only listens to those who have first learned to release the breath that gives voice to their soul.